All right, I got off on a huge tangent on the remote viewing thing, but the double slit test, or whatever the hell it's called in science, um, it depends on the observer, right? Well, how that works is um, I see, essentially, I see what I want to see if I'm thinking with my ego, superego. Superego is the mind, the brain, the lizard brain is your superego, and the ego resides in your heart. I think I'm going to get to that on a different video, unless of a tangent. But if you're viewing the world in your superego, if you're a scientist like Neil deGrasse who thinks he's solved the fucking universe and blah 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 blah, it's all nonsense. He's never going to see the truth. He's going to see what he wants to see. Um, but the observer who is living in the moment, is safe, grateful, and worthy, will see the truth. The person that is viewing from a aspect of, I want to be the best scientist on the planet, I want everyone to know me, I want, they're going to see a lie. And it's a lesson. um, but we've built science, a whole discipline of science. That's all bullshit, all of it. And, what goes on in the stars and what goes on in the interplanetaries and what goes on. We made it all up, not intentionally. It's just scientists thinking with their superego, right? We're learning all kinds of crazy stuff, but science is no different than religion, which is, our belief systems have been cut in half, bisected, and sent down different paths on purpose, right? We have false religions and we have fake science, where the elite know differently. And I promise you this, the Kabbalah, the Kabbalion, the Philosopher's Stone, uh, uh, alchemy, all that stuff is real. And I'm going to do one on alchemy. But but they feed us the nonsense for the masses, and then there's an initiation where you don't get through the gate unless you buy into the control. The secret societies all know the truth. The Freemasons, the Bohemian Grove people, they know the truth. And it's kind of ridiculous that we're fed bullshit history. Our terror is real. We're fed bullshit science. There's no Big Bang. Yeah, time is an illusion. Time is an illusion. There is no beginning and no end. That's the point. But recently I've seen all kinds of studies on, well, the universe is going to be over and blah 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 blah. That's nonsense. It's nonsense. All of it. Science is 99% bullshit, and religion is all bullshit. It you know Even the Gnostic belief system's been warped just so that you get thrown off the track. There's a God. He's in charge. He's the ultimate creator. And he gives people free will. And I don't know what you want to call them, ions or lesser gods or angels or whatever, but given the power to create, what would you create? And then live in the madness, and then understand that all the stars in the sky are other possibilities. We live in a three-dimensional world, and in our three-dimensional world, we have length, width, and height, depth, and it's tracked on time. And in the past, what traps to a timeline is an emotion. So it's witnessed, and it's perceived, it's witnessed, and it's trapped to the timeline by an emotion. Fear, anger, guilt, resentment, pity, safe, grateful, worthy, sadness, grief, whatever that might be, that's the magnet to the emotion, and each moment stands alone. It's just that it's so the remote viewers kind of see everything in the past for what it is. Um, we're finding out that the timeline is all bullshit. You don't have to look too far to understand our history is just absolute nonsense. Probably there was a whole global system called Tartaria, that was a more woke society than us. And little by little, 200 different times it's been shattered by a new creator, and that new creator picked wrong. They picked their country, they picked their 144,000 people, they picked to rule to rule the universe. They picked, and then there's a catastrophic event that wipes everything out. We got a mud flow, we got a flood, we got solar flare flashes, we got a million different things how it happens. But see, if they tell you the truth, then everyone's going to want to be the creator, and that's dangerous too. But if they just teach you to walk your path and be safe, grateful, and worthy, um, then everyone's in control of their own journey, and that's the last thing they want, right? Because then they give up their control. But uh, leadership is the hardest job, and that's not what we have in this society. If you watch leaders, they have the easiest job. They sit behind a desk, they tell people what to do, right? I don't do anything. I tell people what to do. And, um, it's not, the whole thing is warped. A leader has the responsibility of everybody else on their shoulders. Uh, Everybody deserves what they desire. There's enough abundance on this planet for everybody to have a house. There's enough abundance on this planet for everyone to have a car. There's enough abundance on this planet not to be fucked with your family. But instead, um, that's not the world we live in. They rationalize everything. They've decided that the control is more important, because then that gets them what they want, right? Instead of what everybody desires, they get what they want, and then there's a class of people that get nothing, and there's another class that should be happy with that they have something, and there's another class. It's all nonsense. All of it is nonsense. So when people remote view the future, they see their darkness, their light. You can observe the future, but you're going to project your emotions. So if I'm the remote viewer for the CIA, I got a real dark score, inadvertently, because I'm not supposed to be doing that. And then I look out into the future, I'm going to see a dark version of that future. Now, someone exists that's creating a new universe. What the remote viewer is going to do is project their emotions on what they would do if they were the ones in charge. And since they have a dark score, because they're a remote viewer, by definition, they have a dark score, they're seeing 1984. A class of people that are absolutely controlled and absolutely taken advantage of, and there's no happiness, and there's no this, and there's no that, and because that's what they would do. It's projecting. Psychologically, it's projecting. If I was the one in control and I have this dark score, I would make everybody do exactly what I want them to do. And fortunately for everybody involved here, the person that's kind of navigating through this would never do that to anybody, because he loves everyone. And people don't understand that. I talk a lot with people, and I try not to bring it up for I don't want pity. I say I was raped for 4 decades. People are like, oh my God. And I'm like, no, that's what made me so strong. It's okay. And then the next thing will be like, if my dad did that to me, I'd rip his fucking head off. And I love him. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He was doing the bidding of the guy in charge, because he had such a dark energy score. And he had such a dark energy score because he lived in a world where that's what he was taught to do. So it's like I love him. I love my dad, and he's probably not my dad, and it doesn't really matter because he's who raised me, and he raised an awesome, awesome guy who loves everybody. Think about that. I I don't care who you are, what you've done to me. I love you, and I I want the best for everybody, including the people, most importantly, that were in my life. Even if all of you are gang stalkers, I don't care. I love everybody, and nobody can understand that emotion, I feel. I haven't met anybody in my life, in my personal experience. I've seen great tarot readers that I hope one day I get to meet because they seem to be on the same vibe as me. Um, but loving everybody is such a hard thing to do. It's such a hard thing to do. 11 minutes.